Om Gaṇapataye Namaha. Namaste. Welcome to KYG, Kaivalya Yoga Gurukulam. I am Sundar Iyer, and here's wishing you all a wonderful, blessed and joyful Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations. Ganesha, the most beloved, the most popular, and if I might say so, the most famous among all the gods, the Hindu gods and goddesses, so famous and so popular and so beloved that even non-Hindus would like to have a picture of him in their yoga studios or in their cars, simply because the idea of a cute little elephant-headed figure brings a sense of joy, I guess. But there is more to it. There is so much more to this beloved and yet very, very powerful energy of Ganesha. And therefore, I thought that this is the right time, because this is the celebrations of a few days that is dedicated to celebrate this enormous power. So we can dedicate these few days to understanding what does this mean? Who is Ganesha? How do I relate to Ganesha? And if there is a place in my body where I can symbolize Ganesha, what is it? And what's the story of Ganesha's birth and so on? So today I want to just establish a foundation here of understanding Ganesha. And therefore let us begin with Ganesha is the elephantine energy. And where does this elephantine energy, there's a term elephantine, bear with me. This is unscripted. So elephantine means the power of the elephant. Where does this reside inside of me? First, let's establish that, and then we'll examine what is this power. The place where Ganesha resides in our body, because we need that, right? In all just not only yogic forms of meditation, but in the entire principle of these teachings of the Puranas and Sanatana Dharma is internalizing the macrocosm in the microcosm. And therefore, if I understand this microcosm, then the macrocosm becomes very easy to comprehend, because this represents the entire universe. So while Ganesha is the omnipresent, omnipotent energy of the universe, how and where does he reside in me? So for this, I have to go back to the Vedanta, to the Vedic chants. And one of the most powerful and popular chants is the Gaṇesha Atharva śīrṣam. Many of you might know it, for those of you who are chanting this regularly, and someday we will learn it as part of KYG teachings. But there it is very clearly established, without any room for doubt, where you are. And he says, the rishi who composed this says, Tvam muladhara stitosti nityam. Nityam means permanent. Sthita means established. Where? Muladhara. Tvam muladhara stitosti nityam. So the energy of the muladhara, Ganesha is the energy in the muladhara. Muladhara is the basis within which lies a divine Shakti called the Kundalini. Kundalini is not some mystic energy, but our own divinity that is lying dormant. It's a very simple way of understanding this. Okay? Our energy that is lying dormant, there Ganesha resides. And for that energy to awaken, we first must awaken the energy of Ganesha, and therefore he opens the doors for that divine dormant energy within us to come forth and meet with the macrocosm, Shiva, who resides up here. And we'll come to that in a bit. So residence of Ganesha is in the Muladhara. And that's where the yogis meditate upon you. That's what it says. Tvam muladhara stitosti nityam tvam shakti trayatmakaha. That means you enable all the three forms of energy. The energy of Saraswati, the wisdom of learning, the energy of Lakshmi, the energy of abundance, maintenance, and the energy of Parvati, the energy of fulfillment and manifestation. All of those energies, you are there. And Tvam yoginos dhyayanti nityam. You are meditated by yogi thus. All the yogis meditate upon you thus. Yogis are all of us. The moment we close our eyes and internalize ourselves, even if it's for a few moments, those few moments you become a yogi. The idea of yoga is going within. Because in yoga there is unity. Going within, I find that oneness. Now, muladhara, what does it represent? Again, very simply put, the base of the spine represents the depths of your mind, the innermost depth of your mind. In other words, in the depths of the chitta, or I'm going to use this term consciously, though it's not a complete definition, but nevertheless for you and I to understand chitta, we will simply use the word subconscious mind at this point because it's easy to relate to it in English, in common sense terms. Muladhara represents where our subconscious mind resides, and the energy of the subconscious mind is Ganesha. Why does Muladhara represent subconscious mind or the depths of our mind? Now, if you take a look from the top of your head, let's say you're looking deep into a well, okay, not from the side, but from the top, then this represents the topmost part, the conscious mind and all of that, the brain and everything. But then when you start looking deep inside, as if you're peering from the top, then what is the depth? The base of the spine becomes the deepest part. And that is the house of our subconscious, unconscious, where we hold memories of not just this lifetime, memories of events, memories of lessons learned, such as fire is hot, don't touch fire. It's a lesson we learned. It is stored in our subconscious. Our driving, all the things that we do while driving, changing gears or putting brakes, everything is stored in the subconscious. So all those memories, starting from that, everything we learned in our childhood, especially from the age of 2 to 7, if you will, or 10, even we simply kept absorbing like a sponge, everything without questioning, and all of that settled where? Deep in our muladhara. So that muladhara energy is what guides our beliefs and our actions and our fears and our hopes and aspirations and limitations, and everything is determined by what we have stored there. And therefore, deep within that, not only lessons learned in this life, but then in previous lifetimes also. So that's why I said the chitta and understanding Yoga Sutras and all are more important, because we understand that it's not just the subconscious mind that and the experiences learned in my childhood, but way past. So Ganesha represents that energy, and that's a powerful energy, because 95% in modern psychology, if you understand, 95% of our actions, our thoughts, our beliefs, whether we laugh or cry or respond, the way we respond to situations, the way we react to people and circumstances, are all determined, 95% of them or even more, is determined by the power of the subconscious mind. What is stored there, and how do we constantly reinforce those beliefs, and those beliefs in turn guide us in our reactions and responses. Guess what? Ganesha is that energy of that. And therefore, in the ancient yogic methods in Vedanta and all of that, at one point they were all same, they're not different paths or anything. We were taught how to harness this energy, how to awaken this powerful energy, how to harness this energy in such a way that this energy begins to give us. Ganesha is the god of fulfillment. He will give you. He has a hand which says Varada, is one of his hand is the hand of giving, and we'll explore all of this in the future vlogs. But then he's the one who gives, but he also is the one who can create obstacles and stop you from giving, from getting. So he is the creator of obstacles. He's also a remover of obstacles, if you will. And therefore, we have to understand that in that context, the subconscious mind can open the universal energies for you, but it can also prevent and create obstacles because of how we have reinforced, what are the beliefs that we have planted, and how we are reinforcing the subconscious thing. So to understand it in a more spiritual manner, in the spiritual context, especially in the context of yoga, which is my path, and I made peace with this understanding, so allow me to share my personal understanding. There are so many ways to understand these things. One is not right, one is not wrong. It's simply a variety, and I want you to open your mind to these kind of thoughts as well, because it made sense to me. I love it. These are the kind of thoughts I encourage when I close my eyes and I think of Ganesha. We have to understand the symbolism of the story of Ganesha. The Puranas are not historical events, otherwise they would have been called itihasas. Like Rama, story of Rama and story of Krishna are recorded as history. But These stories come under Puranas, means old folklore, very, very old. In other words, they are so old that we can only understand the symbolism from that. We don't have to keep debating whether it happened, didn't happen. It's a moment in history. It's not historical. It is a symbolic understanding, and therefore that symbolism means that these stories are happening within you and within me, or these stories need to take place within you and me. So what is the story of Ganesha? How did he come about? How did he get this elephant head and so on? So it is believed that the cosmic energy, the divine principle, Shakti, Devi, if you will, she created a son of her own, Ganesha. So she got clay from the earth. Again, muladhara represents the earth element, and therefore she got clay from the earth. You understand the symbolism here, why the story says energy of the earth. So she got earth energy and she made a clay. Now that simply becomes quote unquote inanimate form, right? How does she bring life into it? She takes energy from her own body. In other words, the story goes, she takes energy from her hands and her body like this and applies it. And that, in the story says, it's like sandal paste. In other words, just to give that energy of perfume or the beauty of that perfume. Again, perfume connects to sense of smell. Sense of smell is connected to the earth. So there is a correlation in every aspect of that story. But I don't want to get too technical. All I want you to take home is when the divine energy, the idea is from that Ganesha represent and has not just the clay form, that is, in other words, our subconscious mind just not has simply memories and events stored which is dead of the past, but then it is infused with divine energy and it connects to the cosmic, because the cosmic energy created Ganesha. The Shakti principle creates Ganesha. Where does Shakti reside? She resides as the Kundalini dormant in the Muladhara, and so from there she creates. Again, giving us a key how to awaken this dormant energy. Without this, understanding this energy, not only we cannot awaken the dormant energy, we can perhaps not do anything. Nothing creative, nothing productive can happen without understanding this. Okay? And that's why we first worship him. In other words, we evoke that energy and say, all right, now I understood who you are. So when I invoke that huge energy, and then creativity begins to flow, productivity begins to flow, ideas begin to flow, guidance comes from within, and then you are able to live the life the way you want. So she creates Ganesha. The divine cosmic energy, the Shakti principle, the primordial Devi principle creates Ganesha. In other words, Ganesha has a link to the cosmic energy. Okay? That means our subconscious mind is linked to the universal intelligence. That's how we got to understand that. Okay? So that is one part. Now the story goes further. So once she has created Ganesha, and that time he didn't have the elephant head. She simply created a beautiful looking boy and gave that cosmic energy and all of that. That power was immense. That boy supposed to have had immense power. In other words, when we first understand divinity, and when we first begin to understand what we are capable of, what happens is that initially that power is uncontrolled. We don't know how to control that energy. That's why you and I get flashes of intuition. We get a divine guidance here and there, but then certain things happen big to us, certain things don't happen. That energy from within us, we don't know how to control it, harness it. And that was what Ganesha was. It was an uncontrolled energy. So the story goes to say that one day Parvati, the divine Shakti in the story, the mother of Ganesha, she tells Ganesha, please guard my entrance. I'm going within the innermost quarters. I want to take some rest. So you guard the entrance and don't let anyone in. Tvam muladhara stitosti nityam. She says, you stay in the muladhara and I'm going inside the muladhara to rest. So Shakti is gone to a dormant state and Ganesha is guarding the entrance. That is within us. The divinity is now taking rest and Ganesha is guarding the entrance. Which Ganesha? Not the Ganesha with the elephant head, but Ganesha with the ego head. The one who's got a lot of powers but don't know how to control it. Okay, his mother has created him, so he is all happy and full of power. So now there's no wisdom there. There is no moderation there, I guess, in that story, in the way we understand that energy when it arises. And therefore the story goes that Shiva decides, Shiva is the husband of Parvati, the god of the universe, if you will. So Shiva decides to visit Parvati. So as he comes to see her, this little child blocks the entrance. Nobody is allowed. So there is no discrimination. There is no, this just child, because what is running this child right now? The ego. Okay? That is running this energy. And so the energy blocks everything and blocks Shiva from meeting Parvati. So in other words, even if when we want divinity and to experience divinity, even if cosmic consciousness comes down, there is an energy that blocks the meeting of our universal consciousness with our individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. That's why you and I feel separate from God. We feel separate from the universe. We become individualized because there is an energy that's blocking that flow. That Ganesha without the elephant head in us, in you and me, today, even today, that's why we need to invoke this Ganesha, right? So how did he get this elephant head? So again, let's go back to that story. So Shiva says, hey, listen, I am her consort. She and I are one. You can't stop me. He says, no, nobody is allowed, period. So then Shiva removes his head, the head that is not wise, the head that is filled with ego, and that simply follows instructions for the sake of following instructions without applying that divine wisdom, applying the instruction in a divine wisdom way, in other words, guided. That kind of ego is what you and I do, right? We do things for the sake of doing it. Everybody is doing it, I have to do it. And that's how we become dogmatic, we become very ritualistic in our thinking and so on and so forth, thus blocking the divine energy, and that's blocking our connection with the universe. So what does Shiva do? He says, this head won't do for you. This is coming in the way. So he removes that head. Now the story goes, and these days with this extra dramatism and the way televisions and other portray it, it's gory, right? And we have these weird stories coming up. But just stick to the symbolism. So Shiva cuts off his head. The story goes like that. But in other words, Shiva replaces the head, that head, the human head, with the head of the elephant. He replaces the head of the elephant. So that's where the symbolism comes. Once the head of the elephant comes onto the body, then suddenly Ganesha realizes, oh my God, this is the divine energy. How can I separate my father and mother? And therefore he steps aside and allows the meeting to happen, and therefore the meeting happens. In other words, the individual consciousness that is lying dormant, Shakti, she is able to receive the universal consciousness, Shiva, into her quarters, into the muladhara, and then the whole energy opens, right? Who was blocking it and who allowed it? Ganesha. So we have to understand the symbolism of the elephant head. We have to understand the symbolism of the energy now that is associated with Ganesha. Ganesha is that powerful energy that can even block Shiva from meeting Shakti. In other words, it has the energy to block the universal consciousness from coming and merging with your individual consciousness. And therefore, when we invoke this Ganesha, the Ganesha that is the Gajamukha Gananatha. Gajamukha is the one who's elephant-faced, Gananatha, the Lord of all the Ganas. The Lord Ganas are little demons, if you will, not demons in a lighter way. Ganas are those little things, our subconscious thought patterns and all those beliefs and all of our past that is held inside those Ganas. He's the Lord of those Ganas. So we awaken him. Therefore, we can harness all the energies of these Ganas, the entire armies of them that we have collected over the many births. They will in turn come to serve us and help us achieve and live life to its fullest. My dear friends, we'll explore more of this. I don't want to make this into a long lecture, but we'll go into it in another vlog from now onwards. I want you to just in this vlog understand that Ganesha represents the power of the subconscious mind, and if the power of the subconscious mind is to be first tackled before understanding anything else in life. Otherwise, you and I can be praying for the rest of our life. We can be doing japas and meditations and yoga and all kinds of austerities and penance. But if we have not understood and harnessed the energies of what this divine energy of Ganesha is within us and allow Ganesha to open the door, nothing is going to happen. You and I will be going around in circles. And that's why most of us go from one retreat to another, one book to another, one guru to another guru, and we're just going on in circles. Ask yourself, what has happened in the last 10 years of your life, 20 years of your life, 30 years of your life? We can pat ourselves on the back that we did so many pujas, so many rituals, so many this and so many that, but what has that done to you? Has it made you feel more empowered, more enriched? Do you truly experience abundance in your life? Truly experience that peace? If not, then there is a Ganesha that needs to be awakened. There is the energy of Ganesha that needs to be harnessed. And when that is harnessed, believe me, whatever the illness could be, however serious your illness is, physical illness, or however weird and difficult your circumstances in life is, whether it's a difficulty in relationship or finance or all of that, you will learn to make peace with. And suddenly those things, I'm not saying that you'll get healed or you'll get rich, but you will make peace with it. And then you will find those obstacles are no longer obstacles. They're actually energies helping you evolve. That is why Ganesha is not a remover of obstacles. The subconscious mind does not remove obstacles. The word obstacles means it is there in the subconscious mind. Removing or having it or all that is immaterial. That is grammar. So don't think of obstacles. Please remove obstacles. Please remove obstacles. Guess what? The subconscious mind is going to register obstacles in your life. Ganesha is not a remover of obstacles. He makes peace. Sarva vignopa shantaye. He makes peace with these obstacles. You're not going to fight with those obstacles. You're not going to fight with your illness. You're not going to fight with your weaknesses. You're not going to fight with your difficult circumstances in life, whether you're stuck in a loan or stuck in a dry relationship. I don't know, whatever it is that you right now is bothering you, don't fight it. Don't pray that it should go away. Don't fight it. Make peace with it. Make peace with it. Accept it. Make peace. When you make peace, sarva vignopa shanti, when you make peace with the vignas or the obstacles, if you will, when you make peace, what happens when you make peace with an enemy? There is no enemy, correct? So you don't keep fighting the enemy, because one soldier goes on, another will come and another will come, and that fighting will go on, right? Don't fight. It's not a time for war, at least no internal war. Make peace. When you make peace, sarva vignopa shanti, when you make peace, then there is no enemy to fight. There is no obstacles that you need to worry about at all. So make peace. So that is the energy of Ganesha. And all of this is related to so many prayers. Every time I may not draw from those prayers. If I can, I will. I don't want to make it too technical. But today, understand the energy of Ganesha residing in the muladhara, in the base of your spine. Right in the center of the muladhara, close your eyes and meditate. And then we'll understand why is number 4. Why do we meditate? And number 4 is related to Ganesha. What are the 4 hands of Ganesha give? What are the gifts that he holds in these 4 hands that he's going to give us? We've understood what is the significance, the more deeper significance of this elephant head. Why couldn't it have been a lion's head? Or the head of some other animal, your favorite animal? Mine being the elephant, one of them. And therefore, why the elephant head? We'll explore all this a little more detail as we go, and as these days continue. About 9 or 10 days is dedicated to the celebrations. So let's take one aspect at a time of this beautiful energy at a time, and meditate upon these things. Rituals and pujas and all of that we do are manifestations of what we truly meditate. You and I can sit in relax in a recliner, if you will, and think of Ganesha and think of these thoughts. Automatically you're going deep inside and awakening this divine, beautiful, powerful energy of Ganesha. So until we meet again, stay blessed, stay inspired as always, and enjoy this divine being within you. Namaste and thank you for watching. Om Gaṇapataye Namaha.